It's 2020. It's always a good time to build a bug out bag because people like to panic on election year. So today I'm going to show you what's in my bug out bag. Hey, what's going on? It's Matt. Welcome back to the channel. Today I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of go through my bug out bag. Gonna preface a couple of things before we start this video. I'm not gonna dive super deep into the bag. Anybody who's watching this probably understands what basic things are. I will do additional videos on my sleep system. I'll break it down and actually set it up for y'all. I'll go through my food supplies, but I'm gonna keep this relatively quick. I don't wanna make this a 30-minute video. Keep in mind too, this situation that this bag is built for it's for two people. The other person is my daughter. She's 4 years old. She has her own bug out bag. This bag contains enough for both of us, and her bag will have a little bit of additional stuff just for her. But the situation is really natural disaster. You have time before you actually have to get out of your home or get out of your car. It's not sudden, okay? So keep this in mind. That's what this is built for. That's, in my personal opinion, that's what a bug out bag should be primarily built for. Not super sudden emergencies where the world just collapsed, but you have a couple of hours or at least 30 minutes to grab what you need. Sit tight. I'm gonna turn the camera around, do the best of my ability to keep this short and informational. Let's get into it. Bug out bag. Bug out bag. Okay, so I've turned the camera around. Let's start off with the bag. It is a VANQUEST 27 FALCONER. They do make this bag in a 30 now. They don't make the 27 anymore, but this is what I've had for a long time. I initially bought this because of the organizational features, and you'll see that once we open it up. The one drawback to this bag is, in my personal opinion, there's not enough MOLLE. A lot of people will give me crap about tagging on this and this and this. But to be honest with you, that's what MOLLE is for, right? It is for the additional supplementation of things to hold your gear. So I take advantage of that stuff. And this is only a 27-liter bag. The reason why I went with a smaller bag is because once you set up camp, wherever that may be, and you should have at least 2 to 3 locations, given on the situation that arises. But once you set up camp, you'll be able to use this pack after taking everything off to really just kind of go forage, do whatever you need to do, and you don't need a big bulky pack to do that. You want something a little bit more lightweight. So let's break this down. Okay, at the bottom, we'll start down at the bottom. This is my sleep system, or part of it. It is on here with a Velcro strap inside this particular bag, and this is a dry bag. It's always good to have dry bags, but inside of here, there are actually 2 tarps. And there's also a very, very 10 by 10 foot wool blanket. I went with a wool blanket instead of a sleeping bag because when wool gets wet, it still maintains 80% of its insulation properties, and it's just more durable in my opinion. There's more uses for it. So the 2 tarps that I have in here, one is a UST tube tarp, which would be used primarily just for additional cover. And the other one is a very large tarp for my hammock system. It is 12 by 10, and it would be the main cover for the actual hammock that is in the bag. So that's what's in here. This is a really great Sea to Summit dry bag. Like I said, dry bags are crucial to have. This is on the outside of the pack, so that's why it's in a dry bag. The great thing, yep, there's a carabiner right here. The great thing about this bag is it is a 3-tier system, and we'll break that down right now. This first, in here, as you can see, there's all these little great kind of like holding places for all your gear. I got some bug spray. I have a Sawyer Mini. I have the bag for the Sawyer Mini. This right here is a UCO candle for the UCO lantern right here. I have a ton of redundancies in this bag. This is an actual lantern that works off of 9-hour candles. It's a good idea to have simply for the fact that once you see the rest of this in my bag, You don't want to run out of batteries or light, and these things work great. The blue candle down here is an actual citronella candle, and here's another lighter. Before we get too deep, in the back here, there are some bug wipes. These things are great. You know, they pack down relatively small. Some more gear ties and a handkerchief in there. On this top part, there is paracord, a small hank of it. There is extra AAA batteries. All the stuff that I use in this particular bag only works off of AAA, so I kind of fashioned it around that, so I only need to bring AAAs. Marker, Leatherman multi-tool, always a good thing to have. Flashlight, and the reason why I chose this is an A1 Tactical, is because it's a USB charge off of the battery itself. Now I can't seem to find the actual, there it is right there. I don't know if you can see that, but it's an actual USB charge for the actual battery instead of having to bring a regular charger. Nice little Spyderco knife. Sharpener, little Smithwick. Has ceramic, but the reason why I like this particular sharpener is because of the draws, and it's very, very lightweight and packs down. Some little crappy multi-tool that I think I got in the battle box. This just basically has some leverage, a little can opener on it. It can be used as a screwdriver as well. And behind this part, wet wipes, more wet wipes. First space blanket, second space blanket. That's what's in this top part of the bag. Coming up here, I've bungeed this down. This is my food. In here, like I'll break it down in a separate video, but there's rice, there's steel cut oatmeal, there's, as you can see, Swiss Miss chocolate mix for my daughter. There's 2 Mountain Houses in here. And I will really go through another video on what is in here, but this will last for 4 days. This top pocket up here, we have pepper spray. We have a solar radio that gets NOAA, AM and FM. It's also hand crank, also has a flashlight on it, a compass, a small battery bank, a magnifying glass, Right in the Rain notebook, duct tape wrapped around a credit card, and then in this little package I have another credit card wrapped with more duct tape in a bright green. This is also another magnifier, but it also is good for reading maps. And there's some Forenso lenses in there as well to start fire. Also, right here, there is aluminum foil in there for cooking. Moving right along with this bag. Oh, and also in this back pocket, and I didn't see this and I just kind of popped out, sunscreen, suntan lotion in these little packages. These are great. They're 45 SPF. I will go on the side right now. I'm going to pop these off just so you can get a better look at them. This is a Maxpedition kind of Nalgene holder. And in this particular one is one nesting cup for a Nalgene, stainless steel Nalgene. Inside there is a long spoon. Come on. Another nesting cup because there's 2 of us. Those can also be put over open flames. On the outside of this, I have a whistle, I have a thermometer, I have some D-rings from Night Eyes. In here, I have towels. These are really cool. These towels, once you get them wet, they actually kind of come apart, or I should say expand, and essentially become larger towels. They're super lightweight. This is great for just kind of getting cleaned up on the trail, cleaning your backside, whatever it may be, but it's nice to feel comfortable if you're out there for a little bit long time. Chem lights, a ton of them, real small ones. Another handkerchief for filtering water. This is actually the syringe for the water filtration system to kind of clean it out for the Sawyer Mini. I probably won't bring this long term. then some Aquamira tabs. I like the tabs besides the actual like drops. The shelf life on them is longer and they pack down easier. And last, a Silcox key. Now this, if you're not familiar with it, this is actually really for urban environments. Let's just say that we are kind of stuck in a rural area. This will unlock most commercial water stuff you put water out on, whatever it's called, faucets. Go to this side. Same kind of situation here. This is another Maxpedition. This is just I think it's a Condor, little pouch in here. There's really just food, and it's really kind of just like the highly processed food that you would want on the go. There's some packages of almonds in there. There's a couple of protein bars. There's some energy stuff right here. And I think there's something else in here for food-wise. Oh, and there's Justin's peanut butter packages. If you guys aren't a fan of these things, you're crazy, especially if you hike or into the wilderness a lot, because they never really spoil, and they come in those little individual packages. In this particular kit right here, though, is not another Nalgene. It happens to be a Jetboil. In here is a fuel canister, another handkerchief. Cannot express how useful those are when you're in a survival situation. I'm not going to pull this out right now, but the stove fits in here. The stand, the actual cup in there, it's a Jetboil flash. On the outside, I have a ton, I think 8 of them, Night Eyes Cam Jams. If you're not familiar with the Cam Jam from Night Eyes, whew, when you're hanging a ridgeline or you're trying to nail something down, they come in so handy. Petzl headlamp, this takes AAA batteries. A cloth that has kind of like almost like I would say like a wool fiber or a metal fiber, and it's good for cleaning pots and pans. And then some fireproof matches in there. Let's push all this off. Takes forever to put together, takes 2 seconds to rip it down. In the second compartment, and this whole bag, clamshells, which is really nice. Makes it easier to kind of get to things. But when you open this up, these 2 kits right here, I have videos. These are actually stripped down boss kits. I will put a link to the video where I actually broke down what's in this, but this is fishing and hunting. One of the great things that's in this particular box, and these are waterproof Plano boxes. This actually has a yo-yo trap in it. If you're not familiar with the yo-yo trap, you should really take a look at them, but they're awesome for fishing and snaring. But there's just a ton of stuff in there. Like I said, I'll put a link to that. This is the firebox. There are redundancies you wouldn't believe. There's wet fire in here. There's live fire in here. Ferro rod, another lighter. Jeez, I mean, there's fat wood in there. There's a pencil sharpener in there. It's so much stuff. If you're looking to build a really easy fire kit, take a look seriously at the boss kits. They're inexpensive and they're loaded with great stuff. This 101 Bushcraft. Now, I'm not an expert, but Dave Canterbury is. A lot of people like the SOS Survival Guide because it's smaller. My personal opinion, that book sucks compared to this one. And this is just great to have. One, it's entertainment for me if I get really bored, but it's always good to have ideas or things you might not know what to do in a situation. This covers everything from shelter to first aid to coverage. Obviously covers the 10 C's. Obviously the first part of it is the 5 C's. If you're looking to build a bug out bag, the very beginning of this book tells you what you need. A ton of bright paracord. I like the neon orange simply for the fact that you can see it from a mile away. And I like paracord. This is 550. This is true 550, 7 strand. In here, toothbrush, toothpaste, a ton. I mean, we're talking a ton of pain meds, and I'm talking over-the-counter pain meds, different kinds. And there's a nail clipper in here. A lot of people don't include a nail clipper, and I think that's silly, even though you're supposed to be only out for 72 hours. But a nail clipper is always a good idea to have, and that's pretty much in there for hygiene purposes. This other pouch down here, camp soap. I will get into this in a minute. This is the Coleman little sheets, and this one is like a biological, it's okay to use outside. That is the second layer. Oh, I forgot something. Another dry bag. This will actually work for a bear bag too. It's not protective, but if you hung this in a tree with the other bag, you would eliminate some of that. Now, the other option you can do is, if you're not in a bear infested area, or if you're not in a mountain lion area or whatever, like with large predators, you can sleep with your food. Like literally sleep with it. So if a little critter tries to get you, you can knock it off of it. And another piece of advice I'll give people regarding food is if you're going to leave it in your pack and hang it up, do yourself a favor and open up all your zippers on your pack. The reason why is a squirrel or a mouse or a rat, they're going to do everything to get in your pack, and they will chew through stuff like you would not believe. And essentially, if you leave them open like this, they'll just go in and get it and leave it, and you'll just lose your food and you won't lose your pack. I can't find the zip for the last part. This is incredible. The final part of the bag is the big part of the clamshell. Oh, losing stuff. Pair of gloves. Now these are from EMS. If you're not from the East Coast, Eastern Mountain Sports, they're a defunct company now, but they used to be like the REI of the East Coast. These are great because they're insulated, but they're also work gloves. They're wet leather on the bottom. First aid kit. This is a boo-boo kit, but it's also a trauma kit. And what I mean by that is I've made some additions to this to where there's Celox in there, there's Quick Clot in there, the bandages, and there's also a SWAT tourniquet. If you're not familiar with the SWAT tourniquet, you should not be using a cat tourniquet if you are not a medical professional. Tourniquets are last resorts, but this is fully loaded. And what I do also too, in these med kits, because this is from REI, I take out the generic Band-Aids and I put in real Band-Aids. They just typically stick better. They're actual brand Band-Aids. So I suggest you do that as well. Change of clothes. That's right. This is it. Now, because this is a situational bag where I'll have 30 to 40 minutes or even 15 minutes, what I wear out of the house will be layered. I'll be wearing a fleece. I'll be wearing jeans. I'll be wearing boots. I'll bring a rain jacket. You don't need to pack all that stuff in there. It's just absolutely ridiculous. People bring like change of clothes, and it's just like, you don't need that. This is a pack towel. These are the straps for the Eno hammock. This is the actual hammock. And back here that fell down, this is another dry bag. It's also called a scrubba bag. And inside here, there's these little nodules. And what you do is you fill this up, you throw some soap in it, and you wash your clothes with it. That's why I only have an extra pair of wool socks and a pair of underwear. This is a survival tarp. A lot of people call it a survival blanket, but it's really not. It is 10 by 10, I believe, off the top of my head. But on the inside of this is just a tarp. It's really heavy duty material, great grommets on it, but it also has a reflective on the side. So push come to shove, if you needed to use this as a blanket, it will reflect your body heat, and those are great. A lot of people don't know this either, and I don't know why they don't talk about it, but if you're in a really warm climate and you don't need to be warm at night, you actually put the reflective side facing the sun and it'll reflect the heat. People should talk about that more, because that's what they're for. 2 very large garbage bags. What else dropped? This. Goal Zero. This is an older model. It's a 3.5. It will not charge your cell phone, okay? I have the charging cables back here. I have a USB, a micro one. Like I said before, the flashlight that I'm bringing, the A-Tactical A1, which is a really great flashlight. I think it goes to 550 lumens. And I think it was only like 30 bucks off of Amazon, and I've had it for years. But I'll be able to charge the battery to the flashlight with this, with the solar panels. This is the smaller version, but it doesn't have enough output to really charge your cell phone. So that small little battery pack that I showed you before, it will charge that no problem. It'll take 8 hours, so slap this up at camp, or basically you'll have power all the time. But if you don't, that's what the candles are for. Back here, we have a Corona razor saw. I do not bring a hatchet, so I think you can do everything just with a saw. And then first fixed blade knife. This is a Mora. These things, just a fun little fact about this one. I've actually had this one professionally sharpened. It is a Scandinavian grind. It is relatively easy to do in the wilderness from what I understand. I just didn't want to mess with it, but I've always gotten bit by this knife. This is the model that actually has the ferro rod on it. You can use the spine to spark the ferro rod. And then going to the front of the bag, right up here is my larger knife. And this is what everybody has, and one of everybody's favorite knives. This is the Gerber LMF2. Great full tang fixed blade knife. You can put this on your belt if you need to. That's what the Molly's for on the back, but I've had this for a long time. It's got a lot of wear and tear on it. I have batoned wood with it, so that's why I don't bring a hatchet. You know, I would just baton a larger piece of wood after I sawed it down. And then lastly, on the very front, I have the Nebo Inspector RC. This is rechargeable, and this flashlight will recharge off of that solar panel. I think I timed it at 6.5 hours with full sunlight. So you gotta have a lot of sunlight in order to do it. The bag is completely and totally empty now. That's my bug out bag. So I'm just gonna wrap this up. Thanks for watching this. I don't think I left anything out, to be honest with you. A lot of people will say, oh, you need this or this. I'm not bringing water. Wherever I go in my plans, whether it has to be to the mountains, or if there's forest fires, go away from the mountains, or if there's flooding, whatever it may be, I will be near water. My biggest concern with that is being able to process it, hence the jet boil. If you need it in a fix, you can actually do it relatively quickly. Also the stainless steel Nalgene bottle, you can boil in that. You can cook in that as well. The 2 cups, you can boil and cook in that as well. I have the Aqua Mirror. I just want to give everybody a piece of advice on Aqua Mirror tabs. The shelf life is like 5 years, okay? But at the end of the day, if you crack one open, and I think if they're still brown or like a light green, they're okay, but if they're yellow, don't use them. You really do need to let those Aqua Mirror tabs sit for 4 hours because it will kill crypto, and that will kill you in the wilderness. Even though in the med kit I do have stuff for tummies, like I do have an anti-diarrheal, and I do have Pepto-Bismol, and I do have some other stuff like that, and I'll break that med kit down if you want me to. Leave a comment down below if you want me to. That's pretty much it, right? Get out of Dodge with my kid. Her bug out bag's right there. I'll show that to you in a later video. Thanks for watching these things. Give this one a big like. Comment down below on what you think I should add, take out. Yes, I have redundancies, but gotta be honest with you, redundancies, when you're out in the wild, really, really good thing to have. Thanks.